Hello and welcome to episode 2 of Sean Reviews Media. Today I'll be talking about Evil Dead the Musical, a look at Team Fortress 2, and we'll be ending with the Marvel Universe RPG. But I have to address a couple things first, so annotations if you want to skip to a specific part. I'm going to be reneging on something I said in the first episode. I won't actually be answering questions or comments in regular episodes because it'll take too long, but I will answer in the video comments or in a separate video if need be. One of my light bulbs just burned out. On another note, I found out this channel is named srmediaz. There's a Z at the end. There's a regular channel, SR Media. I didn't know that when I thought I was supposedly conjuring up this title, so sorry SR Media, I will link you in the description. I caught Evil Dead the Musical on its last weekend in Detroit at the City Theater. We were a little late because the City Theater's marquee doesn't face the main road, but that's okay because the show itself started a few minutes late. We only missed the first song or so. The worst part about being late was the usher. We showed up and he's like, "Oh, you guys are the last 3 guys in the front row. You're late." We got in fine. It's not Broadway. We didn't get kicked out. We were ushered straight to the front in the middle of the second song, and everything was fine. The musical takes place over the first 2 Evil Dead movies, and there are loads of self-referential jokes, like comments on Sam Raimi's directing in Spider-Man, and an entire song dedicated to demons that show up just to be killed. But what drew me specifically to the $5 more splatter zone was the promise of loads of fake gore. Like, there are four entire rows that are dedicated to being hit by this stuff, but it didn't always hit our 3 seats, and I think I got the most of it on, just my left arm. They actually wrote the show to break up the first and second movies by the intermission. Beforehand, Ash is mostly freaking out. I mean, he does kill some Deadites, but he's mostly just a wiener. After a quick reprisal of the last song in the first act, Ash is kicked out of the cabin, but when he returns, he finally makes the transition into the wisecracking iconic badass. As Ash tries to survive the night, there are a lot more jokes about the plot holes and inconsistencies in the original movies, as well as a full cast dance number called Do the Necronomicon, where my favorite move was the Henry Winkler. As all the demons are murdered and as, other parts of the audience are thoroughly drenched, it's revealed that Ash is actually telling the story to all the customers in line at the S-Mart. Army of Darkness is briefly referenced as a story for another time, so to end the show, a Deadite appears, gets shot in the face, and Ash saves a flying baby. I thought the cast was excellent. Everybody played their parts to the most hilarious potential. It was definitely worth seeing, and although I wasn't dripping with blood, which I would have enjoyed and thought I paid that $5 for, I'd go see it again. I think they did it last year, and I hope they do it next year, and I hope to be in the part of the audience next time that is just coated. There's a Flickr stream of the show on their website, which I will link below. Team Fortress 2, TF2 came out in 2007 and is a team-based first-person shooter. There's a bit of story behind the game to explain why there are always 2 teams, red and blue. There are actually 2 giant international corporations that each secretly control half the world's governments. The team names aren't just colors either, they're actually acronyms. Red stands for Reliable Excavation Demolition, and blue stands for Builders League United. But there's no E, so it's just sort of blah. There are 9 different classes, sort of characters that you can be, and each is highly specialized. Like the Scout is very fast, the Heavy is very resilient and carries the giant minigun, and the Pyro predictably uses a flamethrower. Now the cat is here, and he is very loud. Each sort of has their own personality too, like the Heavy is Russian, or at least Eastern European, and the Pyro, dude always wearing a gas mask, is completely unintelligible. There are lots of different game types too. There's Capture the Flag, where you're not actually taking a physical flag or just some sort of token, you're actually seizing the enemy company's intelligence. There's Capture Points, Attack and Defend, and then there's Payload Races, where your team has to collectively push this giant cartoony bomb into the opposing team's base, where it will explode and kill everyone. In addition to the regular gameplay, Valve has introduced an item drop system, where at certain points of time you find new things like weapons, which can affect gameplay, or hats, taunts, and badges, which are purely aesthetic. I don't like a whole lot of first-person shooters, but I like TF2 because of the diversity of character classes. So it's not like, for example, Halo, where the only thing that really separates you from other players is your armor color. I do have to admit, though, that the thing that keeps me playing is random item drops. I know that people hate the items. Some people really hate the items. They're like, oh, that's shitty. You shouldn't need that to play the game. But there's a Ghostbusters hat, and I will do a lot for that. I really do need medic items, though, so if you're on Team Fortress 2 and you want to trade, I will link my Steam profile in the description. One of the issues people have with TF2's item system, which I totally understand, is the fact that Valve, the game's publisher, is selling the items for real money. Like, for $5 to $7, I could have the Ecto Goggles, that Ghostbuster hat I was talking about, but with enough patience, crafting, and trading, I could have it myself for free. And some of the prices are outrageous. I think I saw a single weapon for $17 or $18. So all in all, I would recommend playing TF2. I would not recommend buying in-game items, and I would recommend being my friend and trading to our mutual benefit. Alright, moving on, we've got the Marvel Universe RPG. It's a game along the lines of D&D, where you've got a character and you act out certain situations as that character, but rather than sword and sorcery, it's superhero-themed. It's also unique from most pencil and paper RPGs in that it doesn't leave anything to chance. There's no dice, there's no cards, and there's no coins. Instead, the Marvel game can be described as an effort-based system. Each character has a certain amount of energy that you can put into any number of tasks, whether it's the superpowers, personal defense, or other more mundane skills. NPCs work the same way, and actions succeed or fail based on who put in the most energy, the most effort. I think this works out great for people who feel, cursed by low die rolls, and is a really innovative feature in these kinds of games. Time is measured differently, too. Rather than rounds or turns, actions take place in panels, and a series of panels is one page. The third, measure, I guess, is the arc, where no matter how many sessions and no matter how many pages it is one adventure start to finish. The game only lived within the span of a year, 2003, and it was canned as part of a managerial shift at Marvel. This was really heartbreaking because I like comics, I like RPGs, and this was a really good representation of both. It's fun and easy to learn, easy to teach, so if you can find it, I'd say pick it up. This is what it looks like. This is the core rule book. It's 11 by 7.5, hardcover, high glossy pages. It looks really good. The only complaints I have is that the content is not well laid out, and it can be really hard to sift through when you're trying to find something very specific. There's some balance issues too. It's not just layout issues. The Guide to the Hulk and the Avengers was published just at or just after the game's official cancellation, so maybe because it died it didn't get a thorough playtesting, but there are a few things in there that you need to think twice about before using. Like I was saying earlier, it's something I really enjoyed and something I'd like to play again. So because of that, I highly recommend it. Even though it's 7 years out of print, you can still find copies relatively cheap. I think I saw a used copy on Amazon for $4 or $5. If you were so inclined, I'd be up for running one of these games across something like Map Tools, provided we get enough people and all of those people have access to the rules. We could call it something comic booky, like a limited series or a one-shot or whatever means not ongoing. That's it for episode 2, so thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.